So, late last night, early this morning, as the violent Trumpist rioters were unable to stop the counting of the electoral votes in favor of Joe Biden being the next president of the United States, Donald Trump, through Dan Scavino, put out a statement that he is agreeing to leave office on January 20th. Now, the sick irony is, when he lost in early November, he was leaving office on January 20th. And so I have kind of mixed feelings and mixed reactions to this. He finally is agreeing, and yet it's irrelevant because he wasn't going to be president anymore come noon Eastern time on January 20th. And even in his statement, a quote, agreeing to leave office, Donald Trump still repeats the exact same inciting statements that led to the violent Trumpist mob rioters yesterday in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump saying, wow, even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, that's a lie. Nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. While this represents the end of the greatest first term in presidential history, it's only the beginning of our fight to make America great again. Imagine the delusion. Imagine the delusion. Donald Trump lost the House for Republicans in 2018, lost the Senate for Republicans in 2020, and was made a one-term president amidst the most cartoonishly farcical presidency we have ever seen. We've never seen an actual more authoritarian president in the United States. The modern era of politics was not even prepared, we learned, for something this absurd, as even many of the checks and balances were impotent in actually holding Trump accountable for his ignoring those checks and balances. And Trump says this was the best first term of any president in history. So it's delusional. But the idea that only because Trump has agreed this is going to be what takes place is also just a laughing stock and making the United States a laughing stock. Trump was leaving one way or the other. And the fact that it is so newsworthy that he has now come out and said, I am agreeing to an orderly transition of power is wild. But then what's the most important thing? The most important thing is that it's too late. It's already not an orderly transition of power. And the fact that Trump will fly off to who knows where on January 19th or January 20th and golf and tweet if he's still even allowed on Twitter, which is another story for later today. It's already not an orderly transition. And I think that's what we have to understand. You know, as I said, as we see some Republicans now back away from Trump, they need to be held accountable for the 4 years that they defended him. And in the same way that Donald Trump is now backing away from resisting leaving office and saying it will be an orderly transition, the orderly that ship has sailed. Thousands of violent Trumpists stormed the Capitol yesterday, breaking in and doing all sorts of damage and even leading to the death of one woman. The ship has sailed on orderly, and we can't now allow Trump to revise the story by saying, I'm going to leave in an orderly fashion on January 20th. That ship has sailed, and we will talk a little bit later about what the next several months might look like. Let's take a quick break. Make sure you're following the show on Instagram at David Pakman Show, and follow me on Instagram at david.pakman. Start your day and your new year off right with Just Egg, which is one of our sponsors. You've heard me talk about the importance of having a diet that is more heavily plant-based, and it's something I've done over the last few years. I've always loved eggs, so it's great that there is a delicious plant-based version of egg with all the protein of egg that Just Egg brings with it, but it's made from mung beans, so it uses 98% less water and causes 93% fewer carbon emissions than a conventional egg. And Just Egg cooks and tastes exactly like a conventional egg. I've tried it for omelets, scrambled eggs, French toast, banana bread, pad thai, anything you'd normally use eggs for. And I actually think if I cooked something for a friend without telling them about Just Egg, they wouldn't even know the difference. Find it in the egg aisle at your grocery store, on Amazon Prime now, or on Instacart. And they also have a frozen version perfect for breakfast sandwiches. Just Egg. Try it out.